I, 29M, upset my fiancée, 28F, after telling her I was planning on saving food for our dinner this evening. Was I out of line? My fiancé and I had an important appointment this morning at 9 a.m. We both agreed to wake up at 6:45 a.m. to give ample time for us to get ready. I got up and made us both coffee. I asked her if she wanted breakfast, and she told me she wasn't hungry. During the morning, my fiancé made an unplanned phone call which lasted for maybe 30 minutes. It was maybe 8:20, and I'm nearly ready to go. I walked to the kitchen to check up on my fiancé and see she's getting breakfast. She is about to microwave last night's rice, a large amount. This is where our issue begins. I said to her something along the lines of, "Oh, I was going to use half of that for dinner tonight." To which she said to me, "Can't you just cook more?" And you know what, she was right, and I replied, "Yeah, you're right, sure." She asked, "Do I have time to eat breakfast?" A bit unsure, I said, "Maybe, but you'd have to wolf it down, I reckon." I head downstairs to get ready to leave the house. My fiancé comes down a few moments later, and we head out at 8:30. She was being quiet on our walk to the appointment and looked irritated. I tried my best to make conversation and to get her to open up a bit, just the normal stuff, making jokes, etc. I know something was off, so eventually, I asked her directly if something was wrong. I can't recall exactly what either of us said, but our conversation went something along the lines of, "Fiancé, I'm just upset that I didn't get to eat breakfast." I had no idea she hadn't eaten the rice after all, I thought she had. I was feeling some blame being pointed in my direction, and honestly, I was just a bit confused. Me. "Well, love, you had plenty of time this morning, and you told me you weren't hungry earlier. You could have had breakfast before we left, there was plenty of time, no?" "Fiancé. Why are we leaving so early? Why are we walking there? Why aren't we getting the bus? The bus would take only 15 minutes. You didn't let me have breakfast." I don't know. I felt like I was being blamed. Perhaps I shouldn't have felt like that, but her low mood felt so excessive. I know her well, and that was the impression I was getting from her. She also basically said it. Me. "Well, the appointment is at 9 a.m., and it's important. I thought we didn't want to risk missing it. Isn't that why we agreed to get up at 6:45? So we had time? I don't know why we're not getting the bus. I'm not sure it's any faster. You could have mentioned all of this before if it's important to you. If getting breakfast is that important, then you should have made sure you gave yourself enough time. Was leaving 5 minutes earlier than we would otherwise really the issue here? You told me you weren't hungry, and then you had a 30-minute telephone conversation. Take some responsibility instead of blaming me." "Fiancé. I'm hungry, and I feel too tired to walk. I'm going back and then getting the bus. I need space." I tell her that's fine. Not wanting to be pushy, I leave her be and walk the rest of the way. I walk there and arrive maybe 10 minutes before 9. My fiancé arrives after 5 minutes. We're 5 minutes early for our appointment. I ask her how the rice was, and she says that she didn't eat any and got the bus straight here in the end. I suggest we go get breakfast in the city after our appointment. We have our 10-minute appointment, and we head outside after. My fiancé sits me down after we get food and tells me she wants to talk about what just happened this morning. I'm all for open communication, welcome the discussion, and agree we need it. The whole morning just seemed silly to me, and I felt that mountains were being made out of molehills. My fiancé sits me down and tells me that she was upset this morning on our walk because I told her that I was going to use the rice for dinner tonight. She didn't like that I told her that and that I wasn't being very understanding as a person and that I shouldn't nitpick over food. That's it. I told her I understand her point, that I can nitpick at times, and that I'm working on it. Actually, today I was understanding and reminded her that I immediately backtracked and agreed to make more rice for her this evening. I cook for her every day I can because I love cooking and love making her happy with food. I told her that for her to get so upset over that, and being in such a low mood over it, was making mountains out of molehills. I tried reminding her that this is just the everyday stuff that happens in every relationship, that we just need to remind ourselves of what's important in the grand scheme of things. Then she asks me if we're really ready to get married, which came as an absolute shocker to me. I didn't know what to say. I'd never questioned it and thought everything was going great. I agreed about feeling unsure in that moment because I don't want to commit to someone who isn't sure themselves, and she certainly didn't seem to be in that moment. It was very sudden. She went to work shortly after. I don't really have anybody in my personal life to talk to about this, and I feel like I need to reach out for a third-person perspective. I feel humiliated for having to come to Reddit for advice, no offense, but here I am. Was I out of line? I felt like I immediately agreed she should just eat the rice and it's not a big deal. I am not kidding myself. I think it's pretty obvious this has nothing to do with the rice. I was going to suggest we get relationship counseling. I don't want to call off our wedding. I love this woman with all my heart. I just want to hear some other perspectives. Thanks. TLDR. Fiancé got upset about me saying I was saving rice for dinner tomorrow. Now she seems unsure about our entire relationship. Welp, like, follow, share, and comment at reddit_bros for more Reddit stories.